can we please welcome to the Baba stage the wonderful Nick Denman.
I'm just going to find your slides.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you. So, we're going to live by numbers. I mean, numbers are everywhere these days, aren't they? And, I mean, if you want to get in touch with somebody, you need their number. If you want to buy anything, you have to use number. Well, apparently some people use this old-fashioned stuff called money, but I think most of us with cards and things, there's a lot of numbers involved. In fact, in order to keep those transactions secure, there are, interestingly, some really big prime numbers involved, but that's another story. We all have our own number. I love numbers, by the way. And every year on our birthday, we add one to our own number. In fact, we're going to be looking at some birthday numbers in a minute. I've got some special birthday cards for you to look at. And if I move over here, the light won't be quite in my eye as much. And then, if you're still awake after that, I'm going to tell you how to win the lottery. Sort of. Okay, so we're going to start by looking at some birthday cards, which have got some lovely numbers on them. And then, as I've warned you, we're going to do that, sort of. Okay, let's have a look at these birthday cards. So, I've labelled them A, B, C, D, and E, and they've all got numbers on them. And I'll explain how this works. So my birthday is on the 21st. So the cards that relate to me are the ones with the numbers 21 on them. So that's A, C, and E. And at this point, I was going to say, I guess that makes me an ace sort of guy. But when I did a run-through practice of this at home, I was advised not to say that. So, anyway, we're going to see tonight if we can find some birthday twins in the audience. Out of interest, my birthday's on the 21st of December. Anyone else got a birthday on the 21st of December? No twin for me tonight? No, never mind. We will find some birthday twins, I hope. In fact, I'm pretty confident we will. So confident, in fact, that if we don't find any birthday twins, there's a bar out there, and in the interval after this talk, I am going to buy this lady a drink. Is that all right? Okay, so let's just see if we can find some birthday twins out there. Is there anyone who can tell me which cards relate to the date of their birthday, please? Who's going to go first and just tell me? There's a gentleman in the middle of that row.
A and B.
A and B, the 3rd. Can I ask which month?
February.
February. Anyone else born on the 3rd of February? No, you don't have a birthday twin. Thank you. Let's keep going. We're bound to find some, aren't we? Yes, sir.
I'm in B.
Just B, the 2nd.
Yeah.
Which month?
May.
May, 2nd of May. Any takers? Oh dear. Don't worry, it'll happen. It's an interesting fact. I wonder how many people you think, I mean, maybe it's not surprising, because there's only, I think, 84 people in the room here this evening, and there are 365, if you're born in a leap year, 366 possible days for your birthday. So perhaps it's not surprising we can't find anybody. But if you know the answer to this, don't shout it out, please. But just have a think for a second. How many people do you think you need in a room for there to be a greater than 50% chance that two of them share a birthday? Have a little think, maybe suggest a number to the person sitting next to you. How many people do you need in a room such that you've got a greater than 50% chance that two of them will share a birthday? Well, a common suggestion is about 180, because that's roughly half the number in the year, which makes a bit of sense. In fact, the answer is 23. Now, I remember the first time I was told that, I was amazed. I had to go home and get my calculator out and do the sums and check to see if it was actually true. And it is. In fact, it's closer to 22, really. By the time you get to 23 people, there is a significantly greater than 50% chance. And if you have 84 people in the room, it's actually more like a 90% chance that at least two of you share a birthday. We'll see. Okay, let's see some more people tell me. Yes, madam.
A, B,
A, B, and E, the 19th. Which month?
October.
Anyone else born on the 19th of October? No birthday twins for that one? We'll keep going. Yes, madam. All of them. 31st. Which month? May. 31st of May, coming up soon. Happy birthday. No, nobody there. Yes.
C and E.
Just C and E, the 20th
Yeah.
of
For January.
20th of January. Okay, we'll keep. By this time of the keynote, we had several. Yes. A and D, the 9th. Which month? April. 9th of April, no takers? Just B. Sorry?
Just B, yeah, just B.
The second?
Second, yeah.
Have we had a second already?
No,
That was okay, sorry. Your 2nd of October?
Oh,
Yes?
no!
Hey, we have a birthday twin. Phew. Sorry about that. Don't have to buy a drink. Excellent. Well, there we go. Should we do one more just for luck? Anybody else desperately keen to tell me what? Yes. Another 2nd. Which month this time? July. Anyone else on the 2nd of July? Yes! We got another pair of birthday twins. Look at that. How fantastic. Right, well, that's enough of my fun birthday cards. I suppose you all want to know how to win, and you look like you're all still awake, which is excellent news.
Sorry to interject. So
Yeah.
how many titles on here do you have to earn to be able to answer all of us? If I say A and B, you know it's the second. How many options are there? And how? Yeah.
Well, you want to know the trick behind me knowing immediately what number it was?
Well, yeah. Have you learned it, or is it a pattern?
I'd love to say I've learnt it, but I suppose I ought to tell you the pattern, although it then won't look nearly as impressive. It's all, thank you. It's all based on binary, counting base 2. So every number has a representation in binary, and to get up to 31 you need 5 of them. So 31 in binary is 11111, so it appears on all the cards. So they start with 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, which are the powers of 2. So our number system deals in powers of 10, ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Binary works like this. So as soon as you say C and D, I just have to remember that C means there's a 4 in it, and D means there's an 8 in it, and add them together to get 12. So if you add in A, C, D would be 13. So there's a little bit of mental maths going on. Whoosh. Okay, let's move on. Okay. How to win with the lottery. Now, I'm only going to talk this evening about the lotto draws that happen on Wednesday and Saturday, if any of you know about that. I'm not interested in the Euro Millions nonsense or scratch cards and stuff, although there'll be an oblique reference later on. But as I expect most of you know, in order to enter the standard lotto draw, you have to choose 6 numbers from 1 to 49. And what are the chances of winning? Well, it all depends how many combinations there are. It's an easy sum to do on your calculator, in fact, but the answer is there are 45,057,474 different combinations that you could choose, so the chance of winning is 1 in that number. Basically, it's not going to happen. Sorry about that. But here are 3 things you could do that might help you to win. So the first one. So they give away a staggering amount of money every year. Last year, I wonder how much money you think they gave to good causes from the National Lottery last year. It was £1.87 billion, just under £2 billion given away to good causes. So find a charity, get in there. I mean, I looked into it, but apparently Retired Teachers Holiday Fund doesn't count as a good cause. Shame. I mean, that's an awful lot of money, isn't Okay, so the next way you can win, you're ahead of me here, is to choose your 6 numbers but don't buy a ticket, watch them not come up, bingo, you're £2 better off. But I know what you're thinking, but what if they did? They won't. 45 million. But what if? Well, okay, so that was that one. But I suppose some of you might still insist on buying a ticket. In fact, we're told that over 70% of the over 18s in this country regularly play the lottery. Scary. They waste so much money. And really, once you've seen these numbers, you ought never to play it again. But I know some of you will. And so if you do insist on buying a ticket, well, there are some things you can do to reduce the chance of sharing the money with others. Because let's face it, you don't play the lottery hoping to get 3 numbers right and get a tenner, do you? You're after the jackpot. Everyone's after the jackpot. You want to win big. Well, let me just explain why you need to follow this advice. Because let me take you back to the 14th of January 1995, when there was a multiple rollover, over £16 million in the jackpot fund. And in those days, the results were televised. These are the numbers that came up. Now, just suppose, just dream for a second, supposing you were watching the telly that night when the numbers came up and you realised you had the winning ticket. £16 million. What would you do that evening? Order your supercar, book a holiday, tell your friends, and then you think, hang on, I've got this ticket. This is valuable. Without this, I haven't got anything. And you know you might have to share it with 1 or 2 others, but even so, you're going to be in the millions, aren't you? Even if there were 4, 8 people sharing it, you'd still be a couple of £1 million better off. And then you had to wait till the following morning to find out, till they crunched all the numbers and find out what happened. This is what happened. 133 people chose that combination of numbers. And instead of winning 60 million, you got 122. I mean, still nice, but when you thought you were in the millions. Now, that should never have happened. I mean, someone like me who's interested in numbers, had to go and work out when I realised, I remember this event happening actually, and I remember thinking, how on earth could that happen? So the number of winners at the jackpot follows what's called a Poisson distribution, invented by a French mathematician, nothing to do with a fish. And if people had chosen the numbers randomly, it was a rollover, and in those days you only choose numbers up to 42, which meant there were only 13,983,816 combinations, possible different sets of numbers. And they sold about 60 million tickets that week for that draw. So on average, there should have been about 4 winners. Somewhere between 2 and 6 would have been expected. The chances of there being 133, I actually put it into the distribution to see what it would be, and it is more than billions. It should never have happened. But of course, that's assuming people choose the numbers randomly. But they don't. If you look at those winning numbers there, 7 I'm told is a traditionally lucky number for some people. They're all quite nicely spaced out. And that just shows you people do not choose their numbers randomly. So, what should you do to increase your chance? Because you don't want to be sharing it. So, don't choose a set of numbers that are nicely spread out that you think other people might randomly choose, because they're not random. So choose 6 in a row, choose 4 in a row and 2 somewhere else or something, but not nicely, evenly spread out like that. Interestingly, don't choose 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Some of you might remember Steve Wright had bless him, used to have a radio show in the morning called Steve Wright in the Morning, and the week the lottery was launched, one of his factoids, as he used to call them, on the show was that the combination 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 has never come up in any lottery anywhere in the world. And ever since he said that, thousands of people have chosen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And interestingly, having chosen it and done it for a few weeks, they daren't change. Which, if you think about it, is also entirely spurious thing, because every combination is equally likely to come up. And so every week they think, well, I can't change because it might come up. But they should be thinking, well, if I did change, maybe I would have won that week. It really doesn't matter. Don't get het up if you have a combination of numbers you regularly choose. It really doesn't matter. Just as likely if you change as if you don't. But I know what they're thinking. One thing you could do would be to choose the numbers that came up last week, because you think surely nobody would be foolish enough to do that. Well, interestingly enough, 2009, I think it was, in Bulgaria, they have a slightly smaller lottery than us. 7 numbers came up on the Wednesday draw, similar setup to ours, Wednesday and Saturday, but smaller lottery, only 4 million combinations. Exactly the same numbers came up on Saturday. Caused an outrage. Government set up an inquiry immediately. How could that possibly, must have been fixed. They came up in a different order, and that combination was as likely to come up as any other combination. What I think is really weird is that 8 people shared the jackpot on the Saturday. Not quite, that really is interesting. But the numbers involved in the lottery, well, numbers are fascinating anyway, of course, we all know that. But how much money do people spend on the lottery each week? Huge amount. Now, I'm sure several of you watched Children in Need this year, and great thing. And they raised, I think, £35 million or something. Think of all the effort, all the time and effort that went into Children in Need Week, and it was great. And they raised 35 million. I've got an idea. Suppose next year, just for 1 week, not every week, just 1 week, everybody, the money they were going to spend on the lottery, not even all of it, just half of it. Spend half the amount you normally spend on the lottery, give the other half to Children in Need. That would have doubled the amount of money raised for Children in Need instantly. And as a bonus, you wouldn't have to watch Mike Hatchard play the violin upside down. No, we love Mike Hatchard, but yeah, £157 million on average spent each week on lottery tickets. Scary. Well, I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of information of various numbers of various sorts. If you do insist on playing the lottery, I hope your numbers come up. Thank you for staying awake. Good night.